Today's truism will discuss talent versus the person. Can we still be a fan of someone that has done something horrible?
Hmm.
Levi the Great, what do you say?
I say yes. I believe that we can, and yeah,
You
yeah.
can be a fan. It's so weird to be a fan to me of somebody that I know that has done some stuff. And what I'm gonna bring up is R. Kelly. You know, I used to love me some R. Kelly music. I'm a writer. So I love how this man writes and how he put things together. But now, knowing all the stuff he had going on, my mind's telling me no. It should,
Uh-oh.
nigga. That
Now
baby is a baby.
was that the right key,
Oh,
Levi?
you're not gonna do me.
I'm not sure, but I would when I said I was thinking about Chris Brown, and I know Chris Brown had that thing with Rihanna, and then he's had other things that kind of came up about him being
Mm,
abusive and whatnot. But I still do
mm-mm.
love and adore Chris Brown. Same with
Yes.
the allegations that were brought up against Michael, but he was cleared from all of those. And then even thinking about it's somebody else that I'm thinking about, but it's not
Was
coming
it
to the
Tory
fore.
Lanez?
No, I'm not really.
Oh
I've never
no.
been too much of a fan of Tory Lanez. But if you really think of all of the big celebrities, they not all of them, but some of them do have this hate train that kind of forms around them, and they're painted to be these bad guys, and they did these terrible things. They're stopping bags. They're paying for awards, this and that. So we hear things, negative things on the regular, and sometimes some people experience negative things happen to them. I haven't personally really experienced anything negative happened to me. Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I would say maybe somebody that I've dated in the past that might have been a artist or something like that. No lie, I still wanted to know what was going on with their career and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that I was so heartbroken or that it changed my life so much, it kind of made me feel like a creep when I did go looking or go searching through their page and like, what's up with them? I hope they're doing great. You know what I'm saying? So in order to deal with that or compartmentalize that feeling, I just avoided it at all costs. So yeah, if it's more local, then sometimes it can be a bit more difficult. But I think at the end of the day, it really depends on where you're at in your healing process and how you're coping and dealing with things in your life as well as that situation.
Right.
So basically, compartmentalizing is the way to go when it comes to these people.
I've been I think
You
that's
think
been a
that?
coping mechanism of me. Like I have to kind of if something is still very triggering for me, sometimes I just have to remove it from my face altogether. It might not be the
Mm-hmm.
best thing, but sometimes it works for different people.
So what y'all
Yeah,
say like with Bill Cosby? So we saw Bill Cosby. We grew up with Bill Cosby being like the Black American dad, with the character Cliff Huxtable. And then there's these allegations that like they call him Pill Cosby because he was, giving pills to
that's so
the
sad.
women and doing things with them. And then they locked this man up. But how do we feel about watching the Cosby Show after that? Can we still watch the Cosby Show and really separate
It's a great
that
question.
from who he was, or saying the things he did? Still be a fan of his? And if
I
you are
think
a
that
fan, are you condoning what he did?
I think that when it comes to the Cosby Show, I think that because I grew up watching that, I did not know Bill Cosby. I knew um I knew the character Cliff
He's Cliff
Huxtable.
Huxtable.
Uh-huh.
So is who I actually have the connection with. I don't necessarily have a connection with Bill Cosby. I didn't really begin to know who Bill Cosby was as a comedian and as an actor until later on in my life. And it wasn't even like I had became a fan of his. I still was engulfed in the character Cliff Huxtable. So I don't know, it's kind of hard for me because I don't think that I ever really looked up to him actually. I never thought about that. I
Right.
never realized that I wasn't really that I never really looked up to Bill Cosby. I really looked up to Cliff Huxtable. I'm just having
Yeah.
that revelation right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the
That's
same time,
weird.
Cliff Huxtable couldn't exist without Bill Cosby being that driving force behind it and saying, this is the kind of show I want to do. This is what I want to put out there. Because he did do a lot
Right.
of positive images for Black people during that time that was not on TV. So
Right.
do we erase all of that? It's just like right now. They saying Dr. Seuss had wrote some racist stuff, and he had like little Asian people in his books, and he drew them like with like slanted eyes and the little hats that we had. And they said it's like I think something about slavery and Black people that's in his book. So they are trying to cancel Dr. Seuss. But I
I
mean,
saw
do you
that.
do that? I mean, he did write Green Eggs and Ham,
And that I love that book.
man.
I
And so it's
really
like
love Dr. Seuss.
you say, yo, he did something wrong. He made some mistakes, but these are the good things that he did. Like, can we separate that and still appreciate him for the good things?
I can't appreciate Justin Timberlake for his good things after that thing happened with Janet.
But you know what? I'm gonna
Mm.
say because in my head at first I was like, well, we don't know what Justin did. Like, but then I realized, well, when they were coming after her, she was saying, well, it was a wardrobe malfunction, and he act like he couldn't even speak about it. And then all these years later, he apologized and said, I should have said something. And I'm like, yo, I didn't even.
You're disgusting to me. I'm sorry. After that,
He
I'm
should have
like, because
said
Janet
what though?
suffered. Janet suffered tremendously. He might not have been able to turn things around for her because the guy that was over the whole network and everything, now he has been fired and charged and all that kind of stuff. Thank God. Now she can, come back and rightfully take what's hers and get the respect that she deserves. But I just felt like he could have done so much more for Black people, women, Black women, as a whole in that moment. He could have made history. He had the opportunity to, but instead he did the thing. I feel like he copped out in that moment. So yeah, I guess sometimes it depends on the circumstance. You
What
know
should
what I'm
he have said
saying?
though? What should he have said? Sorry, what should he have said?
I think
He,
that maybe instead of making jokes about her and all that kind of stuff, and like, yeah, I did it, haha. That was the kind of energy that was kind of given. I think he should have
Hmm.
been more
Apologetic.
apologetic, and then like this. Do y'all realize what they're doing to Janet's career? I'm sitting here thriving, and Janet's career is just this one situation that's just dismantled everything for her.
right.
And like if that's I don't know. I think he benefited from that moment a lot, and he milked it as much as he
Hmm.
could. And now years later, that everybody's looking at him as this bad guy, and maybe he's on a decline. Now all of a sudden he wants to say, "Oh, you're right. Yeah, I did do this wrong, and I did." It's too late now. You do it
Yeah.
while you were at a career high. Do it while you were at your peak. You know what I'm saying?